here's Brody Brazil.
So why don't we begin this video with just some simple logic. If there's a baseball team called the Royals who call Kansas City, Missouri home, and they go out and purchase, I don't know, let's say 200 acres just outside of Kansas City, Kansas, what exactly do you think their intentions were here? I mean, they can say whatever they want. They can confirm or deny or make statements or run away from this. I'll explain what they did in just a second, but it's kind of obvious that they're at least keeping their options open, if not committing just a little bit more to crossing state lines. It's a big question right now for the Royals. Will they stay in Missouri? Will that state offer them a certain type of proposal to stay in their home state? Or are the Royals bound to cross state lines, go over to Kansas, and try and replace Kauffman Stadium on the other side of that border? So the Royals have bought this land. This is first reported by the Kansas City Business Journal. We've only recently found out about this, but it actually took place back on May 9th. This piece of land, 200 plus acres, was purchased for about $164 million. Technically, wasn't officially purchased by the Royals. I just feel like that's necessary to include here. It was purchased by an affiliate of the Royals. Maybe they were trying to do this a little bit undercover, a little bit so nobody would notice, or maybe it just makes more logistical and financial sense to have this affiliate do it and not the Royals proper do it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's through the Royals that they're buying this land. It was confirmed by the team afterwards in a statement. So again, they're not the ones that leaked this. They're not the ones that called any attention to this. It was found out. The team was asked about it. They had no choice but to be honest. This site is in Overland Park, Kansas. Let's kind of zoom in here to what it looks like. Now, this is southwest of Kansas City, Kansas, which obviously straddles the border of Kansas and Missouri, but southwest of Kansas City. This is called the Hesperia campus. It used to be the Sprint campus. Sprint as in the telecommunications company. You can see that kind of circular road, but all those large buildings in between. A large commercial complex, a corporate campus. It's 207 acres in total. And this is one of those long-rumored potential sites for the Royals. They're now down to about 2 or 3 of them in total. And so the fact that the Royals and their affiliate have gone out and purchased the mortgage for this site, essentially secured this land, it lets you know that they're at least highly serious about possessing this as an option, if not the end solution. And so all of this in the moment puts the Royals as a team and a company kind of in a difficult position. There's 2 ways to go about this. You can deny it. You can pretend this isn't happening. You can not address the media. You can not answer questions. I actually give the team a lot of credit for putting out this statement saying, quote, "We have not yet decided on a site, and any assertion to the contrary is inaccurate. As part of our ongoing efforts, we have negotiated with or made investments in multiple potential sites, both in Missouri and in Kansas. One of these investments was the acquisition by an affiliate of the Royals," they're spelling that out clearly for us, "of the mortgage on the Hesperia campus through an arm's length bidding process." I don't know exactly what that means, but you understand the picture here. "As evidenced by stadium development plans across the country, these are complex, time-consuming processes that involve a variety of considerations." Let me just stop right there. This could be simply the Royals saying, well, yeah, we've gone out and purchased this site because we want to make sure it is a bona fide option. We didn't want to let this slip out of our hands. They could turn around, I suppose, and sell it right back to somebody else if they don't need it. Maybe it's just securing it. Maybe they have not ultimately really decided on it, although, like, you're getting pretty serious about a site to be purchasing it at the very least, even if you don't use it. "We are evaluating multiple options at the same time, which is prudent. In fact, in the weeks since we purchased the mortgage, we have continued to work through a strategic, diligent, and focused process in both states to ensure we can reach the best decision." And I'll get to what exactly is happening in Missouri right now. That legislative session, that special session that the governor called, it's ongoing. They're still trying to figure out what deal they can work out for the Royals. And it is kind of that state versus state thing right now. But before we get to that, I want to show you some news coverage of this Hesperia site because I do think the visuals are important to digest. Here we go.
The old Sprint campus, once again, a potential site for Royals baseball.
I'd love to be closer to the Royals.
Many we talked to nearby say to the Royals they'd be happy to have them.
We've already got some good businesses and restaurants here, and I think bringing the Royals here would just add to that.
The Royals saying in a statement they're still exploring all options when picking the new ballpark.
Baseball it's a fun sport.
It's like near Park Place and this really nice part of town.
For these young Royals fans and ball players, a stadium here would be a great fit.
I'll go to a lot of games. I'll probably get season tickets.
There's still concerns about parking and traffic.
Traffic's always going to be a downside no matter where we put it.
Probably before game starts and probably after for a little bit, but I feel like they can work around it.
But come 2030, they would love some backyard baseball.
It'd be cool knowing it's my hometown. I've grown up here. I'm going to go pro in baseball, so it'd be awesome to play here one day.
Who knew kids could be such experts on the local news? Are their parents aware they were interviewed for television anyway? Good coverage, though, the visuals of what the Asperia site looks like, a little background in depth to that. So have the Royals decided? I don't know. I understand a lot of people would think that. I can also comprehend the idea that they're just keeping their options open. But again, to go out and buy a site just to keep your options open, that's quite the commitment. They are getting quite serious, at least in the fact that Kansas is very much a legitimate option, if not their ultimate decision. The Missouri legislative session, the special session, is operating right now. That's at the call of the governor. They finished off their regular session. They didn't come up with anything for funding stadium sites like for the Royals or for the Chiefs. And so the governor said, you know what, everybody back in here, we're going to figure this part out. Missouri's deal could support about 50% of stadium costs, plus about another 10% of tax credits going towards the stadium for the Royals and or the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs really want to stay at Arrowhead Stadium. Obviously, that's in Missouri. The Chiefs aren't interested in moving as much as the Royals seem flexible to do. And that kind of opens the door to Kansas. They've had these STAR bonds, these sales tax and revenue bonds that were passed more than a year ago. They expire at the end of this calendar month, June 30th, 2025. So that's why it makes a lot of sense that at the beginning of May, the Royals are like, hey, we like this option. By the way, the Kansas offer and those STAR bonds, that would cover about 70% from the state of a Royals stadium cost. So look, if you're the owner of the Royals, Mr. Sherman, if you're looking at this saying, well, geez, I could get 50% help or I could get 70% help, how do you think that's going to go? Unless there is some real special reason to stay in Missouri. And if Kansas City, Kansas or Kansas City, Missouri isn't that big a deal to the fan base, maybe it is. Let me know in the comments section below. Are you from KC? From which side of the border does it matter to you? But if it doesn't matter to the owner, then this makes a lot of sense why they're purchasing land, why they're securing that to get this type of deal. Even if, like this legislative special session, even if it proves a deal to 50%, 50 is not 70. Missouri right now knows very much what they're up against. And that brings me to the takeaways in my new little jingle and stinger there. Did you like that audio effect? Did you not like that? Some people said it was too long in the past. Some people said it was too loud in the past. I shortened it and I quieted it. Now I'm talking too much about it. Anyway, here are my takeaways. Number one, there is still some concern about this Asperia site, the fact that it's not necessarily connected to public transit to the best degree, or that the ingress-egress near neighborhoods surrounding it, it's not necessarily, it's a commercial campus, but outside the campus is still more residential, and you're kind of in the suburbs. You're in that suburban setting. So does it work in this place? Yes, a lot of people used to come and go from their office jobs there, and maybe still do to some degree, but what if it's 35,000 in and out on several hours of a time frame? And what do you think they're going to do to the rest of the campus? There's a lot of already nice buildings, established settings. Maybe the Royals actually don't want to tear down all of this campus or most of it. Maybe they like this site because they figure, all right, we can use our 17, 19 acres for the stadium. We can redo some of the buildings that already exist. Maybe this is very much a turnkey site for the Royals to try and be in by 2030, and it's mostly done as soon as the stadium's done. So maybe what's enticing to them about this location is that they don't have to demolish the rest of the campus. A lot of times you see stadium sites and it's just a blank canvas. It's an empty slate of land and you got to do some grading and excavation and work to it. Sometimes like this, something else exists. Maybe they redo it. Maybe they don't have to tear every last building down. But 207 acres, going back to that, kind of a dream situation and solution. Think about the ballpark village you can put on 207 acres, which is exactly what every sports team wants to do with their brand new stadium and venue these days, is to not only build the sports arena, the sports stadium, the sports whatever, and then surround it with real estate, residential, commercial, all of that stuff, because it makes a ton of money on rent. It also makes a ton of money on property value over time. And let me just close it out by saying this. I get the statement by the Royals. I can understand they want Missouri to still negotiate. They want Missouri to still produce an offer, a deal. They're not trying to end that maybe by saying, well, we've already committed and we've made our decision. I get it. Like, they still want the process to play out. But again, why else would you have purchased a piece of land for more than $100 million if you weren't absolutely serious about potentially changing the state you're in? I think that is a statement above anything else of this whole story. So the Royals have bought the Kansas City site. There's no denying it. They've admitted it. But what happens next? I suppose by the end of this month, we'll probably have a solution because those star bonds expire in the state of Kansas. So did they buy this site to get ahead of that deadline to commit to moving to the state of Kansas? Right now, certainly seems like that's at least likely. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below because I would love to see you back here next time.